Go.
Your house anyway.
Yeah. Okay, does somebody have a watch?
Yep.
Okay. Good morning. How are you guys this week?
Doing okay.
I guess I'm fine.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about what okay means?
Well, I'm really stressed about having a baby. I want to stay home with my baby, and he wants me to go back to work. Not understanding that I need time at home to not only recover, but to, like, bond. He wants nothing to do with that.
It's not that I want nothing to do with that. It's just we have people that could watch the baby while she works. Like, money's already tight as is, and then you're going to add hospital bills, diapers, bottles, all that on top of it. Like, I don't think it's wise for her to take the full time to stay home with the baby when she could be contributing to the household too.
So Christine, how does that make you feel when he says things like that?
Quite frankly, pretty pissed off.
So can you talk to him a little bit about what pissed off means to you?
I want to stay home with my baby for at least 3 to 4 months, maybe 6.
Why does it have to be 3 to 6 months? Why couldn't it be like 6 weeks? Like, my mother only stayed home with us for a few weeks before she had family members who could take care of the baby. Like, she's offered to help out with the baby.
Because who's going to take care of it? Who's going to take care of her?
My mom said she would help.
I don't want your mom to
siblings
watch her.
would help. What's
Okay.
wrong with my mom helping?
So why don't we take a minute, take a breath, and it's important that you listen to each other. So Christine, why don't you start again? And Sandy, can you just try to just listen for a minute?
I don't trust your mom to take care of an infant. Look what she did to you guys growing up. She's physically abusive, not attentive, and you want me to leave my first baby with her so I can go back to work, make $12 an hour in retail to do what? Pay her to watch the baby?
Can I speak now?
Sure. Christine, are you ready to listen?
I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I turned out just fine. I don't think that she was abusive or as abusive as other parents would be. And my mother would never put hands on my child. And then there's also the option of my siblings or your mother. Like, what about your mother or one of your siblings? I don't understand why we can't make this work.
I don't understand why you can't just compromise with me. I don't want to do it.
I feel like I've compromised on a bunch of other things, and I
Like
don't
what?
really,
Just tell me, like what?
just our whole arrangement.
I don't know what that means.
I've compromised when it comes to the things that I want. I wanted to join the military and leave, but I couldn't do that. I stayed home for you.
Nobody's stopping you now.
Why would I leave you and my child now?
I don't know. Well, why won't you let me stay home with the child?
Because you'll have your time at home. It doesn't have to be 3 to 6 months. It could be just the minimum of what jobs typically allow. Like, I don't understand why you have to take it to the full 6 months. The baby will be fine.
Do you understand what it's like to give birth?
I can't fully understand it because I don't have the parts to do it myself, but
Okay, so I can tell that this is really, important to both of you, and I'm glad that you can talk. But what I think for right now, why don't we try to stay focused on the issue? So, Christine, when is your baby due?
My baby is due in September.
Okay, so that gives us about 6 or 8 weeks to kind of figure out what we're going to do after the baby's born. So, do you know what your company allows for how's that going to work?
Yes, my company allows 8 weeks.
Okay, and you're planning to take that time off.
Of course.
Okay, and Sandy, does that make sense to you?
8 weeks makes total sense. It's just the 3 to 6 months that makes zero sense to me. I don't think that she needs that much time.
Okay, so we've got the first 2 months taken care of. So that's a start. So you know that you can plan. That gives you October and November to bond with the baby. So Sandy, can you take a minute and think what is your biggest concern about Christine not going back to work?
My concern is that she'll never be comfortable with leaving the baby with anyone. My concern is that we won't be able to make ends meet on just my pay alone. Like, I don't want it to get to the point where we're not financially stable enough to provide for this kid. I don't want to have to struggle to provide food, diapers, and a roof over our heads just so that she can sit home and sit with the baby for 6 months. I think that it's unrealistic to think that we could financially afford to do that.
People stay home all the time. There's such thing as state benefits that can help us in the meantime.
And how much are we going to get in state benefits?
I don't know. I haven't even looked into it.
Okay, let's take a breath. I think that, Sandy, you said some really powerful things. So you said that first, I'd like to take the piece where you talked about that you're concerned that she'd never be able to leave the baby with anyone else if she stayed home. So, Christine, what do you think about what Sandy said?
I'm not saying that I'll never leave the baby alone with somebody else because I'm going to have to, and I know that, but I'm not going to be ready right away. And he has to understand that she's most important.
So can you tell me a little bit about why Sandy would think that? Why would he think that maybe you'd have trouble, leaving the baby with a babysitter or someone?
I don't know. Let's ask him. Why do you think that?
Because I know you and I know how you work. Like, this kid, as you just said, is going to be your whole world. And I totally get that. Like, I'm going to love my child. I'm going to want to protect my child. But you have zero faith in anybody's ability to take care of this baby like you could.
Okay, I'm the mother.
And I understand that. You're the mother. You want the best for our kid. But we will find somebody who's capable of taking care of our kid. I just don't think that you will be comfortable with leaving her with anybody.
When she's a little bit older, I will do that. I already told you. I don't know what the problem is here.
So can we take a breath again, Christine? Can I want you to repeat or think about what Sandy just said? Can you tell me what he just said?
I don't think I remember.
Do you remember what you just said?
I said that I don't think that she'll ever believe that someone can take care of the baby like she can. Like, nobody will ever be good enough.
Well,
Do
you're
you
right.
remember what you said right before that?
That she'll have difficulty leaving the baby
So,
on her own.
I think what I heard you say was that you were also concerned that the baby would become her whole world, and so tell me a little bit about how that makes you feel. And
I mean, it's something I have to deal with, I guess. Like, I get it. Like, she's gonna be the mom. Like, she's gonna bring this little human into the world, and that's gonna be her everything. I get that. Like, I accept the fact that until this kid's 18 and out of my house, that I'm gonna come second to that child.
Christine, what would you like to say to that?
I mean, I'd like to say that I want us to be a family unit of 3, not a family unit of 2 plus 1.
I'm not saying that, like, I resent my kid or I'm gonna resent
I
my kid or
resent you
anything.
for resenting me for not wanting to put her in daycare when she's 3 days old.
I'm not saying put her in daycare. I'm saying that we can find a nanny or we can find somebody who can
So
sit
you
with this
want me
child.
to find a nanny, to pay a nanny more than I would make per hour so I can go back to work and do what? Still be in debt?
If it was a relative, we'd probably be able to afford it.
Like I said, your mom needs to prove herself to me. I don't think what she did to you as a child is appropriate.
And what about my 2 siblings? What about one of them? They couldn't watch our kid?
I don't know. Have you talked to them about it?
Yeah, I've talked to them about it. They said that they'd be more than happy to help out when they could. They're in college.
When
Like,
they could. They're in college. Key words.
Yeah, but my sister goes to school at night. It's not that big of a deal. We work opposite shifts. I don't see why she couldn't watch the baby until one of us got home.
So, I'd like to try to refocus a little bit about what you said about feeling like that the baby will become Christine's whole world. So, Christine, how do you see this baby becoming part of the family? You said you'd like it to be a family of 3, not 2 plus 1. So what does a family of 3 look like to you?
A supportive, nurturing set of parents who can care for a baby together.
So what would a typical day with a family of 3 look like to you?
I have no idea. I mean, I guess.
Well, so take a minute. I'd like you to think. So, kind of when you think about the future, what does a family of 3 look like to you? What would a good day, a nice family, a comfortable family look like to you?
I guess, like, if he went to work and came home, I would have dinner ready, and we'd be ready to, like, kind of just sit down and enjoy the night together.
Okay.
And, you know, take turns holding the baby or doing whatever needs to be done with the baby and working as a team instead of carrying around that tension about me not working. That's going to carry over and be present every single day.
Okay, so it sounds like what you were saying is that it's important that you all are home at night together, having dinner, putting the baby to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So Sandy, does that sound like what you imagine this to be when the baby's born?
I mean, that's fine. Like, I definitely want to have those nights, like, where I can come home to my family and we can have a nice dinner together, and we can put the baby to bed together and then have some time to ourselves. That sounds great to me. But she said, like, the way that she says these things makes me think that she just wants to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, she doesn't want to go and work and miss out on all of the things that are going to happen in the first few years of our kid's life. So I'm concerned that, like, this 6 months is going to turn into 2 to 3 years.
Is that a crime?
It's not that it's a crime. It's we really can't afford it. It doesn't matter how much we get in state benefits. Like, if with only one major income coming into the house, I don't make enough money to support the type of life that you want to live.
Whatever, I need a break from this conversation.
It's fine, walk away.
So you just saw Christine getting upset and having to leave for a few minutes. Do you want to talk about that?
She kind of just confirmed everything that I already knew. Like, she doesn't want to work. She wants to be home for the first few years. I get it. You don't want to miss major milestones and everything, but I cannot support this entire family on my own. And I already know that we're not going to get enough in state benefits in order for us to have it so that she can be a stay-at-home mom.
So what like I said, things have derailed a little bit. What would you like to do right now?
What do you mean? Like, what would I like to work on, or what would I like for her to do?
Well, do you feel like you need to go and talk to Christine? Do you want to continue?
I don't think that it's gonna end well if I talk to her on my own. Like, I think that, like, this is our problem. We can't really come to an understanding or an agreement about what needs to be done for the sake of our household and our child. And it's causing a lot of tension in our relationship, and I don't know how to communicate to her any better, like, that I don't think it's gonna work.
Okay. So what I think I hear you saying is that you're being pretty definitive, like that it's sort of like work full time or stay home, and kind of there's nothing in between. And what it sounds like I'm hearing two important stressors. One is that you feel like you're going to be left out of the experience of a baby, and two, that you feel that there's a financial component, that if she stays home that you guys can't afford that.
Yeah, like, the finances are what's really scaring me. Like, we haven't put enough money aside for it to be financially possible for us to just...
Okay. So do you think that those two things are something that we can all work together as a team?
Yeah, I think that if we can find a way to make it work financially, I'd be okay with that. But where I don't see that as a possibility, I think we need to compromise on the amount of time that she stays to work.
Okay. Well, Christine, I'm glad that you decided to come back. Sandy, would you like to say anything to Christine about coming back into the room?
Yeah, like, I really hope that for the rest of the session that you can stay and hear what I have to say, and we can come to some form of agreement on what needs to happen when this baby gets here. Like, I get that you want to spend as much time with our kid as possible. Like, I get that you want to see everything that you possibly can, but I think that we need to figure out a way to make this work. If you can show me that it's financially possible for you to be able to work for the next 2 years, I'm all for it. I have too much anxiety surrounding our financial stability.
Oh, no, that's fine. We know it's not too late. So we just decided to come early. So, 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 Sandy, so you said that it sounds like you're open to looking at some work solutions.
Yeah, as long as we can figure out a way to make it work, I'd be happy to come home to my wife and the mother of my child, like making dinner and be able to really enjoy some time with my family and then some time with just the two of us.
Christine, can you tell me a little bit about what you're thinking right now?
I'm thinking that I'm hoping that once the baby's born, he'll realize and he'll see and he'll understand where I'm coming from. Because right now, I feel like it's hard for him to just get it. He's always focused on his money. It's like the money is the priority, not the child. And I'm disgusted.
But do you see where that concern comes from? If you can stay home for the next 2 to 4 years, that's fine by me. But what's paying our bills? What is keeping the water on? What's keeping the electricity on? What's paying for the diapers? What's paying for the baby's food? What is paying for the car to get us to work? Like I don't understand why you don't get that. That is something that's actually really important to figure out now. We can't just wing it when the lights get shut off.
Well, for one, if you had any knowledge, you would know that lights will get shut off if you have a child under 5 in the house.
Okay.
So let's just make it better.
I think we're getting a little off track. So so are you both committed to working on looking at your financial situation and kind of looking at a budget and seeing, have you put pen to paper to sort of see where you are financially and what you can and can't afford?
He just keeps saying, we can't afford it, we can't afford it, we can't afford it. And I said, why don't we sit down and look at it? And it's, no, we still can't afford it.
I've done it on my own in my free time at work, and we would just make ends meet, and to not have that security blanket of some excess money at the end of the month is terrifying, because what happens if something goes wrong with the car? That's a couple $100 I have to take away from resources for home to put towards the car. We don't have any just in case money.
Okay. So when you hear that, Christine, what would you like to say?
I don't know, a baby's more important than money, so that's all I have to say about it. I don't understand why. I don't even actually really understand why we're here, because this can all be dealt with after the baby's born. Like, what if his complete outlook changes when the baby's born?
What if it doesn't? What if the baby comes and we're still arguing and we're still not getting along? What happens then?
Then we do this.
I don't think it's worth waiting.
Okay, so so does it really? Is there any downside to just kind of trying to be proactive? So, do you think it's possible to sit down and actually? It sounds like right now neither one of you together as a couple, you haven't really sat down and put a budget together. Is that something that, Sandy, it sounded what I heard that you've already sort of done it on your own, but do you think you guys could sit down together and share, rent, the light, water, whatever, and car payments and all that, and kind of look at the finite number of what it costs every month just to live? Would that make sense?
Yeah, I think that we definitely need to sit down and do a budget together, because I might have a different idea of the expenses for our child than she does. Like, she might think that we need to put more money towards the child, whereas I potentially wouldn't. Like, I don't think that we're on the same page with how our money should be spent and how we should budget our finances currently.
How do you feel about that, Christine?
Like I said, I make barely any money. Why am I going to give my baby to somebody every day so I can go make shit money to then pay a babysitter?
So, again, to kind of keep things focused, would you guys commit to try to it sounds like Sandy would like to put a budget together.
Fine, I'll look at a budget,
Okay.
but I can't guarantee it's going to make a difference.
Okay, so that's a start. Would you like a suggestion from me?
Sure.
So I think in some ways you're looking at the job that you have now, and like that's the only job. Do you think maybe you'd want to explore other alternatives? It sounded like what you were saying was really important was being home together at night, having dinner, putting the baby down to sleep. So is it possible to explore, maybe there's some work from home situations, maybe there's, working part-time, alternative hours, other situations, but once you have your budget, you'll kind of know what that dollar amount is that you need to spend.
I mean, I guess.
And then, Sandy, do you think it would be possible in the budget that, we can talk about it together, and maybe we can look at ways that you can trim out some of your expenses? So I know you mentioned car payments, maybe if Christine isn't working, that would mean that you just have to have one car instead of two cars, things, along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to look at the budget. The reason I haven't done it before is because I know that she wants to give this kid the world that she didn't have when she grew up. Like, she wants the kid to have better than what we had, and I totally get that. But it's not. I can already picture it. Like, her idea of a budget for this child is going to be unrealistic. We can't give this kid the world if we don't have the world to give.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that you're gonna want to pull money from other places to provide this kid with more than we can really afford to give. Like, I can't afford expensive stuff for the room. I can't afford expensive toys and expensive clothes, and I can already see it. Like, you're gonna want to put all of our finances into that, and I don't think it's reasonable. Like, I get it. Like, we had terrible
you're
upbringing.
speculating. You don't even know that.
But I can
We
already
didn't look at
see
the
it.
budget yet.
Everything.
Like, what's wrong with you?
I can already see it. Like, I get it. I understand. Like, we didn't have everything growing up, but I didn't want to do the budget before because I can already tell that this is going to be a problem.
So, Christine, do you think there's a way that you could reassure Sandy how what your vision of providing for the baby looks like?
I'm willing to live on a budget. We have to. It's not a choice. So, which means I'm willing to, like, not go to Target and buy the entire baby aisle, right? I can do those things. If you don't trust me to do those things or live on a budget or, like, at least try, then we have a real issue.
I'm just concerned because I've seen what's on the registry.
Okay. So again, Christine, can you repeat what you just said to Sandy?
I'm willing to live on a budget.
Yeah. So what did Christine just say?
She said that she's willing to live on the budget.
And what?
And try.
And can you let that marinate for a minute?
Yeah. It's the trying that's concerning to me. I'm not saying that I have absolutely no faith that she could do
thinks
it.
that I need to just be perfect
It's
immediately.
just,
Okay.
it's not I don't want you to be perfect immediately. It's just I get that you will try. I feel like it should just be ingrained in us at this point that we cannot afford it. So there's no trying involved. It's just this is what it is and this is what we need to stick to.
But do you remember what Christine said?
That she's willing to try working with a budget.
And what did you say right before that?
She said that she gets that we need to be on a budget.
Okay, so what does that mean to you?
That she understands that there's some financial concerns and that she's willing to work on it, but I can't, like, I get that she's not perfect and that nobody's perfect, but I don't want to, it's just, there's too much risk involved, like, and
So can you
she
tell me-
basically just said that in the beginning that she's gonna mess up and there's gonna be some mistakes here financially. And I don't think that's
So
reasonable.
when did she say that?
When she said that she's not perfect and that she's gonna have to work on it, basically.
So what? I'm human, aren't you?
I'm human too, but if we don't
thinks
have the
he's
money, we
perfect.
don't
Like,
have
he
the
thinks
money.
he's
So
freaking perfect.
I heard you say that there's risks involved. So can you tell me a little bit what you think the risks are?
Because she's saying she basically just said that she's gonna make some mistakes in the beginning, but that she'll eventually get it. We can't afford the mistakes. We can't afford the overspending. It's not possible.
So how do you think, Christine? What's your thought about that?
That I'm human.
Okay.
Humans make mistakes. I'm not perfect. You're gonna make mistakes with this baby too. If you think you're not, that means that what you're telling me is that you're not gonna even care for her. And then I would tell you to walk out the door.
I know that I'm gonna care for her, and I know that I'm gonna make mistakes in the beginning. Like I've
Okay,
never had
then
a child.
guess
I
what?
get
Then
that.
we're
But
both the same.
my issue is that you can't make mistakes like that with money when you have a child to care for. I have to provide for you and this child
You know
if
what?
you're not going to be at work, and I get that you aren't fully getting how stressful that is for me to be the only provider outside of some minor funding
Maybe you
from the
should stop
government.
gambling then.
Okay. So can we take a pause and maybe take a deep breath? So Christine, at the very end you said something about maybe you should stop gambling. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, we go through a lot of scratch tickets. We go through a lot of coins at the casino. We like to drink. He likes to drink and play poker and blackjack at the casino down the street. And then complains that we have no money. So this is not only my problem, this is something that he needs to also work on and fix.
Because she wants to scream that money's not a problem, then cool, I can show you that money's not a problem.
I'm not sure. Can you help me understand what you're saying?
Because she's always screaming, oh, you think you're perfect, you think you're this, you think you know better than me, and I don't understand why you're always so worried about money. So if money's not a problem, then I can do what I want with it. If she doesn't have to take the time and make the money to put aside for the household, then why do I?
So it sounds. So help me understand a little bit. You sound pretty angry right now. Help me
Because it's just
understand.
frustrating. I'm tired of fighting about it. I'm tired of arguing about it. I'm tired of her not getting where I'm coming from, and I thought that maybe I could show her exactly what I meant by putting us in situations that it's riskier than necessary. Like she's not getting where I'm coming from, so I don't know how else to show her. Was it a little bit dramatic? Yeah. Was it a little bit childish? Yeah. But now she understands where I'm coming from when I say that we are not stable enough to just blow our money on
So
absolutely
he goes
nothing.
and does it anyways. 'Cause
Okay,
that's
so-
smart.
So can you tell me a little bit about how? So I wanted to get back to some of what the positive things we talked about, that you guys would sit down and try to put a budget together. So within that budget, are you going to set aside some money to budget for gambling?
No, of course not. My kid's gonna
Some
come
people
before
enjoy
gambling.
that, so
The drinks are it's going out with my friends and enjoying their company and having some drinks with them.
And
that
leaving me home by
is
myself
that is
for
stress
dinner,
reducing
for
for
being
me.
pregnant.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Then you shouldn't start arguments with me every single night about you staying home.
okay. So it's Christine. It sounds like you're concerned about him continuing to go out with his friends and go to the casino or
Yeah,
whatever.
hence why I made a point to say it would be great for everybody to be home at night to like spend time together. But all he cares about is going out and gambling.
But what do you think of that, Sandy?
She's stressing me out.
Well,
I
can you-
have no sense of security right now. I have so much anxiety surrounding what's going to happen when this baby gets here. I don't know what to do with myself. And I'm tired of going home to arguments about money and her staying home and what's going to happen when the baby gets here. I'm tired of being accused of not caring about my child or wanting the best for my child. I need some way to relieve stress, so I go out with the boys and I play poker. I have a couple of drinks. I always come home though.
At like 2 a.m.
I'm
Okay.
still home, aren't I?
I'm,
I prefer to come home
care.
at a time where you're not yelling at me.
I don't care. You're such an asshole.
Okay, so what would a good night look like
To me,
to you?
a good night would be me coming home. We can sit down, have a conversation, just talk about our day, like talk about things that have happened that bother us, and without it turning into a screaming match. Like, I want to be able to come home and enjoy my family. I want to be able to enjoy this pregnancy with her as much as she's enjoying it on her own right now, but I can't do that because every time anything involving the baby comes up, money
He's not
comes
supporting
up.
me. He's not supporting me whatsoever emotionally.
I don't know how to do that when you are screaming at me all the time. I don't know how
Then
to do
stop
that.
getting on my case about going back to work. And stop gambling. If you stop gambling, I may agree to go
What
back to
don't you
work.
understand about I go out and gamble with the boys because I can't be home.
I understand that, but maybe you should try to be home so we can work things out instead of running away from the
So
problem.
then why can't we have a conversation instead of you yelling at me all the time? Why can't we just talk about it and try and come to a compromise where both of us are satisfied with the end result instead of it being your way or no way?
Fine, let's talk to her about it then.
Okay.
That's why we're here, right?
So, well, I'm not here to be a referee. I'm here to kind of help you. So, originally, the goals that we talked about was we had two important goals. One was about about trying to decide if you got what you could and couldn't afford, and two, what life would look like after the baby, and how to have you guys have the same mutual agreement. So, do we still want to work on those two goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to lose
Okay.
her and I don't want to lose
So-
out in time with my
So
kid.
when you leave here today, how it sounds like you guys sometimes things can escalate, just like they did here. So how do you think having a budget discussion can be a stressful situation? So what are some of the things we can do when we leave here today to have that become a meaningful discussion? What are some of the ways that you can do that it doesn't turn into a fight? So I want you to take a minute and think of when you guys disagree, what are the triggers? Are you usually, is it a certain time of day? Is it,
It's the only time I see him at night, barely. If he even comes home. He comes home to change and then he goes out. And the reason why I'm screaming is because he comes home and 20 minutes later he's out the door to go hang out
Because
with the
5
boys.
minutes after being in the door, you're yelling.
okay.
About why you're freaking going out again.
It's always a direct result of you yelling. Like, I get it. I have enough stress going on at work. I have enough people yelling at me at work. I'm having a hard time at work, but not that you would know it because you're always yelling at me about ridiculous things. So yeah, I want to go out and I want to de-stress, and I can't de-stress at home, so I do it somewhere else.
So, Christine, what do you want to say to that?
If he could go home, come home, and plan on staying home, I would be more willing to say, hey, how was your day?
But you just automatically assume that I'm gonna leave, and it turns into an argument.
Am I ever wrong?
You're never wrong because that argument
That's what
always
I'm
turns
saying.
into
Okay.
yelling, and
So-
I don't want to be there.
So why don't we talk about, let's take it step by step. So what time do you get home from work?
I get home around 5:30, 6 o'clock,
Okay.
depending on the day.
And you're already home from work?
I get out, I work 7 to 4.
Okay, so you're already home. So what are you doing?
I'm getting dinner ready,
Okay.
doing laundry, just doing stuff
So
around the house.
what would it, and then you come in from work, and what would you like to see happen, Christine?
I would like to get a hug, maybe a kiss once in a while, and say, hi honey, how are you feeling? Or how was your day? What did you make for dinner? Oh, I'm looking forward to eating with you. Anything.
Okay. What do you think of that? Is that, what do you think when she says that?
That's totally fine. I'm all for that. Like,
So-
I would like to just come home, take a shower,
So, no,
and
we're-
enjoy my family.
So I want to stay focused on what she just said. Let's talk about what Christine said she wanted. What do you think of that?
She said that she wants more affection, but I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around her 24/7. That I don't know how to
So-
approach her when I get home.
I want you to repeat to me what you think she asked you to do.
She wants me to come home and greet her like I used to, like come home, give her a kiss,
Like
give her a
So-
hug.
So did she use the word used to?
No, but
So-
she described how I used to come home to her.
Okay. So again, tell me what she's asking you to do.
She's asking me to come home and she wants me to hug her, kiss her, ask her how her day was, and just.
What do you think about that? Is that
And I think that I would be more willing to do that if I wasn't worried about an argument all the time.
so? I just said, what do you think about it? Is that what she's asking you to do reasonable? Is it something you can do?
Yes, it's reasonable. I just don't think it's currently possible.
Okay, but you have to try.
So tomorrow, when you guys go back to work, is it reasonable for you to be able to just come home and start the day by just, maybe giving her a hug or saying hello even, and then just asking her how her day was or what's for dinner?
Yeah, I can do that, but she makes me anxious. Like I don't know what person I'm coming home to. Am I gonna come home to somebody who is open to that? Am I gonna come home to somebody who's angry and ready for a fight? I don't know what I'm going home to. And that's why I come home and I don't say anything, because I don't want it to turn into a fight, but then it always turns into a fight anyway.
You're anticipating it doesn't help.
So again, is it, it sounds like what I hear you saying is do you need a little time when you walk in the door to decompress, or?
I need some form of signal that this is what she actually wants. Like I'm willing to do it. Like I miss having those moments when I came home from work. She used to be my person to go to whenever I was stressed out, but now it's like we have so much tension between us that I don't know what I shouldn't or shouldn't do, what I should or shouldn't say. Like, do I touch her? Do I not touch her? I literally feel like I'm walking on eggshells, and I'm trying to tiptoe around all of our issues, but it's hard. Like I feel like anything I do is the wrong move. Like I feel like no matter what, I'm gonna come home and it's gonna turn into an argument, because that's how it's been for so long.
What do you think, Christine, about what?
I think
Sandy
that's
just
sad.
said?
I mean, I'm always in the wrong, so what's to change? What's gonna change between now and tomorrow?
I mean, I think we both feel the same way. I always feel like I'm wrong because we're just butting heads constantly.
So we talked about something about just trying to change when we walk in the door. So you had said what you would like is maybe a hug, a kiss, a conversation. Sandy, what would walking in the door look like to you tomorrow when you get out of work?
Like my ideal?
Well, just what would make it a more peaceful situation?
I mean, I'd love to come home to just have a decent conversation with her about how our day is. I'd love to hug her, kiss her, and tell her about my day too. And then I'd like to just shower, have dinner, and just enjoy being together.
So it sounds to me like you both want the same thing. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we make that happen?
We try.
Yeah, I guess
So
we
what
try it
does-
out tomorrow.
So
and
what does trying look like?
I would come home and just ask her how her day was. Like, hug her. Maybe she'll ask about mine and I'll tell her.
What do you think about that, Christine?
I'm willing to try.
I don't know what we're gonna do if this doesn't work out. It's just that anxiety always sits at the back of my head. Like I don't want my kid to grow up in a broken home like I did.
Well, I don't want that either because I did the same thing. So guess what? Looks like it's up to us to figure it out.
I guess, but things
No.
get tough and you keep
It's up
saying it,
to
then you
us.
can leave. I get that, but
Okay.
you've said it twice in this session already. Like things get tough, then you can go.
If if you're not
and
supporting me.
that's terrifying to me because the thought of leaving has never occurred. But it feels like if things continue the way that they are, that you're ready for me to just go, and I don't understand why you're so quick for that when I've never even thought about it. And
That's my defense.
I think at the end of the day, like, that's kind of,
Because I know I don't deserve to be treated poorly.
but that at the end of the day, like, that thought is sitting at the back of my mind, and I'm pulling away. I mean, I guess not intentionally, but like, that thought sits with me, and I come home and it's just like, damn, I really don't want to push her buttons today because I don't want to have to go.
So can you guys kind of give yourselves some credit that you come to counseling and that you're trying to work things out?
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
So why don't we spend a few minutes and kind of decide what it is that we are, as we kind of look to end today. Let's sort of recap what we can do to make things, some of the things that we agreed to do when we leave here today. So Sandy, what do you think we're gonna do?
I'm gonna try and come home tomorrow with a more positive outlook, I guess, and try to go back to how things used to be and greet her the way that I used to, and instead of being standoffish, so that I avoid an argument. I guess my avoidance of arguments is kind of causing them.
So, just Christine, what do you think?
I think he's right, and I think, like, I anticipate it, and I have a lot of anxiety around our relationship because I anticipate him coming home and then going back out, and I feel depressed knowing that he's just going to be gone all night, and here I am, 8 months pregnant. Like, what's going to happen when this baby comes?
So, Sandy, do you think you can make any commitment to staying home this week? Is that possible?
Yeah, I can stay home. I want to stay home. I want to avoid arguing as much as possible. Like, I want to talk about these things instead of yelling about them.
So, so what can we do instead of leaving if you guys?
I mean, I can take some time to myself and cool down, and then try and come back to the conversation.
What do you think about that, Christine?
It's fine.
What would that look like? How would that happen?
I think if we start arguing, we both need to just recognize that we're arguing, walk away for a minute, and regroup and come back.
What would walking away look like in your house?
Walk into a separate room.
Is that possible in where you live?
Yeah, I can go into the office and she can have whatever other part of the house she wants.
Does that sound reasonable rather than leaving to go out with your friends?
Yeah, I can try to make it work, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about coming up with sort of a emergency measure if things get difficult. We originally, earlier today, we were talking about trying to put together a budget. Do you guys think you're ready for that, or do you need some time to?
No, we need some time to work on this first.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to work on, like, the tension between us so
Okay.
that we don't walk into that conversation already anticipating an argument.
That's great. I think that's great that you can both recognize that maybe you're not ready for that for that step yet, and what are some other things that you'd like to do? Is there anything else you'd like to do this week?
We'll give each other a greeting when we walk in the door.